He was up to 20 million about a year ago, and he was short all those things I had the shorts on, plus long all the gold stuff. So he must be worth probably 50, 60 million now.
Is he married?
Well, as a matter of fact, he's single.
Oh, okay.
But I think he might be too young for you.
No.
I'm just teasing you.
Hey, you're talking about the S&P and you're talking about the markets, and this question came in, so it's right in relationship to what you're talking about.
I don't want to take it. Okay, go ahead.
There was a discussion on CNN that the S&P could go below 700. It will nosedive to 600. What does the 700 level mean? They never explain.
Well, it's 500 of the best stocks in America. And so maybe some of them are foreign as well. I don't know. I haven't looked lately. Okay. Now, you take 700 and you multiply it times 9. You come out with 6,300. That is the equivalent of the Dow Jones Industrial Average figure for 700 in the S&P. Now, I hope you understand that. Now, if you want to find out on NASDAQ, and nobody else in the world uses this formula. I can't believe it. I mean, they're so dumb. These are professionals. You take NASDAQ, and you multiply it by 6, and then you get a Dow figure. And I'll show you what I mean here once those numbers come back up on the screen here. But the breakdown at 700 is 6,300. Okay? Where's it going? I don't know. But I know by Dow where it's going. And they even tried to keep the Dow lower than minus 300 today. And they were not successful. It's slightly over, but you could see them on the end coming in and buying one of the stocks and because it was jumping up and down by the same amount. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say the market was off 299.87 points. It would pop up to 299.03. And it did it 3 or 4 times. And the reason it did it 3 or 4 times, these were deliberate late trades trying to keep the Dow under minus 300. So they were buying, the government was buying one of the blue chips. I mean, you know, I was a tape reader. I know what these guys are doing. Of course, that's a dying breed because you don't have to read the tape anymore. They put the names of the companies in there, and any dolts can do it. But there's a rhythm to the tape, and you can tell what the market's going to do by watching it. It's an acquired professional piece of expertise. So when all was said and done, it was down 299.64, which is minus 300 on the day, and the actual figure is 6763. 6763. Okay, let's try to find out what the S&P and NASDAQ did. Okay, here's S&P. 9 times 3427. And that comes out to minus 308. Okay, that was a little bit weaker. And they performed together all day. You know, they were down equal amounts. Okay, 54.99 was the downside on the NASDAQ times 6. That was down 330 points. So that's how you do that. Okay, and you get a better feeling. The NASDAQ is always a little bit more erratic, but lately it's been stronger than the other two indexes. And today it was off a little bit more. So they're virtually in line. And unless there's some kind of an announcement from government, they get some new kind of chewing gum or something, this thing's going to be down again in the morning. Not one of the Dow Jones Industrial Average stocks is up today. And so it doesn't look good. And it was very disappointing. The 10-year was 287. That means bonds were up today because it closed at 302 on Friday. That's the yield. And I've yet to get the 2-year, but I know the yield was down on that too, which means the 2s were up. And you might call that perceived safety, if you may, why one would buy bonds. The insurance companies and the retirement pensions are going to get slammed, something terrible. And if this goes the way I think it's going to go, and we get down to 3,800 to 4,200 on the Dow, from the high to there, most of these entities will be off somewhere, if they were holding stocks, somewhere between 70 and 85%. And there goes your pension. And, I don't like to have to tell you that, but we only deal with reality here. And that's what's going on out there. And it just so happens those who are in bonds, there goes gold minus 16.30, silver's off 18 cents. Those who are in bonds in their retirement plans will do much, much better than those who are in stocks, needless to say. And mutual insurance companies hold bonds only, and so that's important. But if you get a stock insurance policy, you may have very bad problems. A lot of these insurance companies are going to go under. We talked about the Hartford Group at 30, 20, no, it was 20-something. And it's down now to $6. I only wish I had recommended more shorts. I was a little conservative.
Why would an insurance company go from a mutual to a stock in this climate?
Well, the mutual insurance companies are different than the stock companies.
Right.
They have a different set of rules. And the mutual companies don't invest in stocks. They invest in bonds. So in these kind of markets, they don't get hurt as bad, and that protects their policy holders.
So why
Up until 1986, not one retirement plan had stocks in their portfolio. You don't know that because you weren't a professional in the business, listeners. I was. I knew what they did, and they didn't have any stocks. And all of a sudden, they all wanted to have stocks. They all want to guarantee all these payouts and so on and so forth. Pensions like CalPERS in California, teachers' retirement, I think they're history. I think they'll both go out of business. California is going to get absolutely ripped in every respect. 40% of the income in L.A. County, where I lived for 36 years, is unreported. That means the feds don't get any taxes, the state doesn't get any taxes, and they just use the heck out of the welfare system. Now you tell me how a state, and it's like that all over the state, but L.A. County is the worst. How can the state financially survive under those conditions? It can't. It's over for California. California is a revolution waiting to happen. 250,000 gang members who are armed better than our military. They don't have any planes or boats or tanks, but they're sure well armed. I mean, would you like those nutcases running around in your neighborhood? I don't think so. But they're going to be there if you live in Southern California. It's going to be very, very, very bad. Now for the good news. Can I do some questions, Melody?
What? I have about 20 of them.
No. You were first on Friday. It's my turn. This one came in from Korea.
Girls before boys.
Oh, give me a break, will you? This is from Steve in Korea. Question for Melody. Oh, it's for you. Could you please explain options expiration dates and how they influence the price? I know they love to drive the price down so the contracts expire worthless. How can you check these prices? There is very little, there is a very actively traded month coming up. Yes, there is. It's March. You have to go to a commodity broker to get prices on these, and people will bet gold's going to go down and gold's going to go up, and they buy options on that. And what the professionals, what they call the commercials, do when the options are coming due, they don't have many put options. Most of them are long, on the long side, betting that gold's going to go up. So what they'll do is when expiration date comes, they'll just knock them all down.